Yo. Welcome in, man. Today is January the 3rd. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. We got a bunch of games on the board for today, so we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to jump right into it. Give you guys a quick recap of what I bet, go through a couple comments, and jump right into it for today. Yesterday, official play, Austin Reeves up and over his 6.5 assists. Easy winner yesterday. Probably should have kept going and took the 8 and 10 and everything else. Even without Anthony Davis, that was the easy winner. That was the play I gave out on the show yesterday. I didn't know so many people was on it. A lot of people was already on it. And a lot of people took it throughout the day yesterday. It took the ladder. Easy winner. Ended up adding, after the show, adding James Harden, which was on the short list under his 20.5 points. He did not end up playing in the game. So you can say that wasn't even a bet. Should have got your money back if you tell. And then last but not least, I added the Brooklyn Nets. No, I'm sorry. I added the Milwaukee Bucks team total up and over 117.5. Milwaukee looked like they never played basketball before last night. So that ended up being a loser. So I guess you could say 1 in 1 day yesterday with the other one coming back. Or you could say a push, whatever. So we didn't make any money, just slightly lose a little bit of juice yesterday. And what was a pretty frustrating loss on the Brooklyn Nets yesterday. Frustrating loss on the Milwaukee Bucks. Probably should have just played the total up and over in retrospect. But let's see what we can do today. There's tons of ways to get paid. I got one official bet that I put in already. Got to be efficient with my time again today. Jump into the comments. Let's go. Prolific joined as a member again. My guy, what's up, bro? Appreciate you. Clo Parlay Guru, I think this is new. Says, where you at, fam? I know you're trying to tell us Knicks money line. We'll get into that game. Scott says, damn, my Hardenstein double hooked and Reeves over 26.5 points and assists hooked hit. 3-team parlay for the day, though. Lakers, Celtics, Thunder -4.5. Morning Mitchell. Prolific says, I'm thinking of a 4-letter word that rhymes with buck. What up, Mark? G Hurd. GLB Bets, all the guys in here with us this morning. Top of the morning to the crew, to the Discord crew. Zach Betts in here with us as well. What up, Pete? He says, everything I said yesterday was so wrong. I think I opened up a wormhole and it swallowed me up. It swallowed up real Jimmy and replaced him with alien Jimmy. That's bad, man. He talking about Jimmy Butler and all that stuff going on in Miami. What up, Billy? Let's see. My guy Justin in here. Hey, Zach, we're going to be a couple minutes late sometime, my brother. You must be new to the community, but I appreciate you for being here. What time we doing this? That's funny. What up, Hude? Merrill, good morning to you. What up, Jason? All right, I'm trying to get through the comments. I'm not going to be able to all of them this morning. There's too many. What's up, Jalen? Appreciate you for tapping in. Lightbearer here with us as always. Reem Beam, good morning, bro. Charles in here. Derek in here. Says, good morning, beautiful people. Peasy in here. Says he cashed the Blazers first quarter plus 2.5 last night. Jay Aries in here. Jay Main in here. What up, man? Appreciate y'all for tapping in as always. All right, let's get into it for today, man. We always start off with jaXon. jaXon was right yesterday. It liked the Heat in the Pacers game to go up and over the total. And that was a winner yesterday. So jaXon got another one right yesterday. jaXon been killing. I actually used jaXon yesterday a couple times. Like if I make a bet with jaXon and it's something that I handicap, I'll share it. But if it's something that I don't handicap, I'm not sending member plays just because jaXon said do it. I feel like that's irresponsible. But I made a couple plays with jaXon yesterday. In NCAA and cashed some winners, and also with Notre Dame yesterday. Notre Dame like jaXon -1. I played it on Bet365 and I got the early cash payout. So some winners from jaXon yesterday for sure. Today I asked jaXon about the spread. I've been doing a lot of totals. jaXon been killing on totals. I asked jaXon about the Hornets and the Pistons spread based on some last 5 game metrics. Just because I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit today. So I'll read what it says. Haven't read it yet. So first it starts with some key stats, last 5 game stats for the Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. Points scored, points allowed, offensive rating, defensive rating, and ATS record. So analysis, first we start with the Hornets. It says Offensive and defensive struggles. The Hornets have been struggling offensively, averaging just 102.2 points per game over the last 5 games, with an offensive rating of just 101.95. Defensively, they've allowed 111.2 points per game, which is slightly better than their offensive output, but still leaves them at a disadvantage. We got injuries. Key players like LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller are sidelined, significantly impacted their scoring potential, which they both are listed as questionable. Not sure if jaXon knows that. The Hornets have lost 8 straight games and are 2-6 against the spread during this stretch, showing their struggles to cover spreads. ATS trends, the Hornets are 16-16 against the spread this season, 7-7 against the spread on the road. However, their recent 2-3 ATS in their last 5 games reflect their ongoing struggles. Detroit Pistons, offensive momentum. The Pistons have been much more efficient offensively, averaging 118 points per game and an offensive rating of 119.65 over their last 5 games. They've won 4 of their last 5 and covered the spread in each of those games, giving them an 80% ATS record in that span. Injuries. The Pistons will be without Jaden Ivey. Get well soon, Jaden Ivey, who suffered a broken fibula. His absence is a significant blow to their offensive depth. Despite that, players like Cade Cunningham, 23.8 points per game, 9.7 assists, and Jalen Duren, 18 points, 11 rebounds in their last game, have stepped up. ATS trends. Detroit, 17-15-1 against the number this season, 6-8 against the spread at home. However, their recent form of 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 shows that they've been performing well against the spread. Head-to-head, the Hornets are 2-0 against the Pistons this season, but both games were decided by a combination of 3 points, by a combined total of 3 points. The Pistons are coming off a 105-96 win over the Orlando Magic, while the Hornets lost 115-108 in overtime to Chicago. Recommendation, based on the advanced stats and trends, ATS pick, Detroit -6. The Pistons' recent offensive momentum and strong ATS record, 4-1 in their last 5 games, make them a better pick, even without Jaden Ivey. The Hornets' injuries and poor recent form, 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games, further support this choice. So jaXon likes Detroit, and Detroit is already moving. I know I didn't update these lines. There are some lines. I will tell you guys the updated lines, but there's too many games for me to keep going and updating lines. So I put these lines in last night. Some of them have moved. Some of the totals may have moved, but we'll go through it and I'll give you guys updated ones. So this line was at 5.5, as you guys can see. I actually opened 5. I wrote my notes 5 yesterday. Quickly moved to 5.5. Now it's up to 6 on most books. There's still a couple 5.5s out there. Total also moved, open to 14.5. Is what I see. I wrote my notes 216, but it's up to 218. So either way, money's coming in on the over here. And I don't know how I feel about that. Let's jump into the matchup though. Ivy, as jaXon just mentioned, Ivy's done for the season with that broken fibula. You hate to see it, man. You send prayers up to, if you're a praying person, you send prayers up to him just because of, what he's been able to do this season. He's been killing it. Absolutely love what Jaden Ivey has been doing recently. So he's done for the season. LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Cody Martin are all listed as questionable. Let me just double check the injury report. This is what I wrote in my notes last night. Trey Mann is still out. Fontecchio is also out. I forgot about Fontecchio. He will not play in this game. So as jaXon mentioned, Charlotte, you got a double revenge spot here for Detroit. They played Charlotte twice. They played them really, really tough. Anybody who remember Brandon Miller hit the game winner in the first one when they were in Charlotte off the tip in, because Charlotte had shot a terrible shot, and they ended up not getting the rebound. Charlotte ended up getting the rebound. Brandon Miller get a tip in. They won the games. I think I remember being on Detroit in the second game, and then they just laid a dud in that one too. So for whatever reason, even though Detroit has been the much better team this season, 15-18 versus the Charlotte team just 7-25, they can't beat the Charlotte Hornets for whatever reason. They have not been able to. Do I think with the double revenge that they are the right side in this game? I absolutely think so. Do I want to lay 6 with them though? I do not. Absolutely do not. Charlotte, in my opinion, Charlotte's not a great team, but a lot of their offense, a lot of their struggles have been because they've been so depleted injury-wise. It was Mark Williams at the beginning of the season when they had LaMelo Ball and Grant Williams was there. Then LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams started to come back. LaMelo's been out for forever. Brandon Miller also rolled his ankle it's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks since he rolled that ankle, but he's been out of the lineup. So with them guys being listed as questionable here and the line moving even stronger towards Detroit, and they've had, multiple days off, I think, that's pretty telling that, the books are thinking, or the people, or at least bettors who are getting their early action are thinking that, it's a Detroit spot or nothing, especially with the double revenge. Detroit without Jaden Ivey, real quick to touch on that. First of all, the emotional side of things for the Detroit Pistons, they really wanted to rally around the team and get a win for him. I was reading last night that they, I said a quick prayer for him as well. He's a very spiritual person. And I think, emotionally that could be kind of draining. They could use that, for good, or it could be super, super draining not having them out there. But you do expect guys to step up, like Malik Beasley off the bench. Maybe Tobias Harris does a little bit more, being that he's being paid so much money and underperforming. So I think that Detroit has the pieces. I think this is just a too big of a number for me to want to lay with Detroit, though. Especially with the if you think that Charlotte is going to get LaMelo Ball back and Brandon Miller back, and you like Detroit in the double revenge spot, in my opinion, you just wait. You get a better number with Detroit. I kind of feel like with Charlotte, like having all the days off for rest, that they probably won't. Charlotte will play Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, but who knows, man? I thought they were going to play in the last game as well against the Bulls, and they didn't play. And then the game before that, they played OKC, they didn't play. So listed as questionable here. That's better than being listed as doubtful, but I think you get a better number. This number probably comes down. I would still probably be looking at Detroit here. Let's see what else I wrote in my notes. Charlotte, 9-game losing streak, 3 days off. Have failed to cover 3 of their last 4 spreads. Way too many injuries. The Hornets are desperate for a victory. They've lost 8 straight in 16 of their last 17 games is what I wrote for the Hornets. On the Detroit side, I wrote they beat Orlando 105-96 on Wednesday. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. First leg of a back-to-back. They got the Timberwolves coming to town tomorrow. And they've been covering 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. However, they have not been favorites in those games outside of the Detroit game. Against the Orlando Magic. It's the only time that they were favorite. So real quick, let's look at Detroit. Let's look at Charlotte. I'll give you guys some trends. So Charlotte is 7-7 against the spread on the road, 16-13 as a dog. So they've covered 55% of their games there. Rested with more rest, which they do have in this spot. They're 3-2 against the spread, 60% in the conference. They're even at 14-14, coming off a loss, 11-13. Detroit side of things, 17-15-1 against the number overall. At home, they are just 6-8. As a favorite, they're just 3-6 against the spread, so you don't really want to lay too many points with Detroit. Let's see. With the rest disadvantage, they're actually really good in that spot, but, like I said, they had Jaden Ivey. And I'll give you guys one more thing on Jaden Ivey after they get through these trends. The numbers, I talked about the emotional part. Detroit is 6-1 against the number with the rest disadvantage so far this season. Let's see, conference 12-12, coming off a win, 5-8 against the spread. So some inconsistency for Detroit, coming off a win against the spread as well. So some things to kind of take into consideration. I also wrote the advanced numbers, and the advanced numbers that I saw says that Detroit is 5 points better defensively without Jaden Ivey on the floor, and their offense is scoring two fewer points per 100 possessions. So it's about a 3-point swing without Jaden Ivey on the floor. About a 3-point swing, but defensively they do get better without him on the floor. So didn't really look into player props, but if I had to look at anything, I think I'd be going back to our guy. I'll bring him up real quick and then I'll go through the comments. It have to be the guy that we've been kind of riding with recently, and that guy is, let's see real quick. Let me get over here. Let's see if we can get this pulled up. Malik Beasley would be the guy that I would be looking at today. He's coming off a bad game. I think we talked about his points and his threes in that last game. Charlotte is not a great. I mean, they're okay defending the 3-point line, but they're not great at all. Look at this. This line open 16.5. It got bet down to 14.5. It's up to 16.5. So about, what is that, almost 3 hours ago? I think you look at Malik Beasley. I would expect him to have some increased value here. increased volume here, some increased usage here without Jaden Ivey being out there. I haven't bet his props today, but we know what he's been doing in the last few games. He had the dud against Orlando. He shot the ball terribly in this spot. Real quick, he shot 22% from the three-point line. I'm sorry, he shot 0%. He didn't make any threes. 0 for 4 from the three-point line after making 3, 6, 5, 5, 7, 7. So the attempt should be there. I'm thinking that he's going to be able to get him up. I do think that it's either him or Tim Hardaway Jr., which I don't like betting on Tim Hardaway Jr., but Tim Hardaway Jr. numbers are probably going to increase. But I like Malik Beasley. I think he should be in running for Sixth Man of the Year. Because they've been starting Tim Hardaway Jr. over him, but he's been closing the games just because he's been shooting the ball so much better. You can see last 10 games here, up and over 70%. I mean, I'm not going to dive too deep into the numbers because I did on the last show, but 46% from the three-point line, which is crazy good, even with a dud of 0 for 4 here. I think it's a bounce back spot for for Malik Beasley today. I'd be looking at his points up and over 16.5, or his three-point makes up and over 3.5, and it's already juiced to -125. So that's the way I would play it. You can see the Charlotte Hornets three-point defense is bottom 10. That's listed here against the shooting guard position. They are 9th, but it doesn't really scare me too much. I think it's a nice bounce back spot for Jaden Ivey today. So that's the way I would be looking to play this game from a player prop perspective. Expecting, I guess for Cade to have a little bit more usage as well. That wouldn't surprise me. But Cade numbers probably going to be pretty inflated at this point. All right, let's go through the comments. My guy Justin in here. What up, Justin? Let's see what we got about this game. Anything at all? Oh, I set this for 7:30 p.m. No way, Zach. You gotta be tripping. What up, Dropping Downs? Reem says, oh, never mind, I'm not reading that. What up, Helms? Fried, yay. Like it. Let's see. Brian says he's on Knicks +5. We're gonna get into that game. Nobody talking about this game. J-Man says even without Ivy, interesting. I said this already, Tom. You got to make sure you're listening up. I went 1-1-1 yesterday in the NBA. J-Man says jaXon is sharp, Chris. jaXon been killing. Absolutely been killing. What's up, Kristen? Good morning to you. Merrill says he likes Malik Beasley over the 14.5 points. You're probably going to be able to get a better number. I'm definitely adding Malik Beasley. I mean, he's already on my short list, but I'm going to look a little bit deeper into it. I think if I like it, this is something I probably want to play early. I feel like it's going to be a pretty public play, and I'm cool with that. I just think that Malik Beasley is in a really good spot today. So Malik Beasley, even if the threes aren't going in, I do think the 14.5 points, if you can still get it at 14.5, is a really good line in this game. Like I said, I really think that Detroit's the right side with the double revenge. Just not wanting to I think you get a better number, like I said, with the guys ruled in. So we'll see when LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller gets ruled in. First game back for both of them after a while. I think they look a little rusty. Merrill likes Cade over his 5.5 rebounds. He likes LaMelo over his 12.5 rebounds and assists. Duran over 10 points. She says Hornets +5 today, +5.5 for him today. You get a better number at +6. See, what up to my guy Fred? Happy New Year to you, bro. He says maybe Charlotte first half. Yeah, I think I couldn't talk you off some first half numbers. I didn't look at it from a first half perspective, but I mean, when you're like we saw this with the Toronto Raptors the other day. I think they had lost like 9 or 10 straight games. I think for Charlotte, I know that they've lost. What did I say earlier? I put it in my notes. 16 of their last 17 games. I mean, you're not gonna find too many more desperation spots, and the loss of Jaden Ivey could be a tad bit too much in my opinion. Expecting the other guys to step up though, so I can see Charlotte first half for sure. You definitely see that. Let's see. Charlotte needs to get LiAngelo Ball up there, changing the room, bumping the new track. LiAngelo track is tough, man. It is tough. I like that LiAngelo track for sure. Contract Beasley over 15.5, 26 twice, and 28 without Ivy. Dropping Dimes likes it a lot. GLB Bet says Charlotte with two or more days of rest, 1-7 against the spread. So they play terrible even when they are rested. That's interesting. So interesting, man. Dropping Dom says skip the baseline. Take 20 for Beasley at plus 200 over on 365. DJ Props says, morning, bro. Appreciate you for tapping in. He says Pistons on the money line. Hornets team total under for him. I think you get a better number on that Hornets team total when LaMelo and Brandon Miller are ruled in potentially. Mitchell says he likes Detroit first half and full game. Parlay minus 130. I would lay the 5.5 as well here. Okay. Who's bringing the ball up when Cade's resting? Looking at his assists. Malik Beasley, maybe. Tim Hardaway Jr. Oh, you know what? Sasser. Marcus Sasser's going to play a lot more minutes now. And Marcus Sasser's a bucket. He just got out the rotation because the other guards were playing so good. He's not the greatest defender, but Marcus Sasser could get a bucket. He could definitely lead an offense too. So I like Marcus. We probably won't get Marcus Sasser lines, but Marcus Sasser's gonna step up. I was reading that yesterday. I absolutely use the money baller all the time, zoned up, all the time. Let's see. My screen actually stuck on Moneyballer right now. All right, let's go. Let's see. Marquis says he took under last night. What up, LJ? He says you did set to 7 p.m. I don't know how I did that. That's my fault. My fault, man. What's up, Tasha? Derek says Bridges points, rebounds, and assists probably worth a look without LaMelo and Brandon Miller. This is something I gotta write down. I totally forgot about this. Bridges goes crazy at the crib. He is from Detroit. And this is why I enjoy doing this show, man. Miles Bridges is from Detroit. If we go in and look real quick, I'm gonna go back just because Derek mentioned this. If we go back to Outlier and look at this, I haven't looked at it this year, but I know for sure that he goes crazy at the crib. If those guys are ruled out, I do like this a lot. So let's go to, and that's really the only cap is that he is from. That's where he's from, and he plays really, really well when he goes to Detroit. So let's see if do we even got Bridges numbers? I feel like we should have them. It's saying that there are no props available for Bridges. Now let me know if y'all see Bridges props. Let me go to, no Bridges props, and that's probably because LaMelo and Brandon Miller are both listed as questionable. Let's see. Let me just pull this up real quick. Yeah, we only got Mikal Bridges. I'm sorry. Mikal Bridges. We don't have Bridges numbers. That's crazy. Oh man, I know Miles goes crazy. So last year when they played this year when they played, he had 27 points, 27.7 rebounds. The game before that, when he played in Detroit, 24-7. The game before that, when he played Detroit, 20-10. The game before that, when he played Detroit, 29-10. The game before that, when he played in Detroit, 25-4. He has his best games, 19-27, when he plays Detroit, specifically in Detroit because that's where he's from. So I love this look. I will be writing down. This is not Mikal. This is Miles Bridges up and over his points. If LaMelo and Brandon Miller don't play, even if one of those guys sit, I think that this is a really good look. Shout out to Derek for bringing this up in the chat. Absolutely love that look. Absolutely love it. All right, let's get back into the comments. Get over to the next game soon. That was here. What up, High TV Grit? Says Malik B, he likes his over 16.5 points. Kate Cunningham 25 or more. I got a couple tabs in places I typically don't have them, so I'm gonna move this over here. Want to see the best number real quick for Bridges, but I'll get back to all that. Depending on the injury report, I'll play team total, otherwise pass for Jason. C-Ray says under 112.5. Detroit team total. Oh, he says over. My fault. Over. Young Man Travel says morning. Run up those likes for the new year. Appreciate the work. Appreciate you, bro. We'll get it to this game in just a second. All right, I think we did a pretty good job here. And that's most of the comments too. Jadon said those injury reports have been ruining the game for real. Some people want to go watch a match, but their favorite players get ruled out last minute. Even us bettors can't get real lines because of surprise injuries. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more, man. I can't go to the games, honestly. I mean, not that I really want to go. I can go to Charlotte games because it's pretty close. I can go to the Wizards games because they're pretty close, but I'm not doing it with these injury reports. So I definitely agree with that. And it definitely sucks for the fans, and it sucks for the sports bettors for sure. All right, let's see what we can get Beasley's best line is real quick. Expecting them to be pretty public today, but that's cool. 15.5 for Beasley is on BetMGM right now. So it is up. It is up from 14.5, and it's up to 16.5 on most books. I see some juice 16.5s as well. So always shop around, get the best of the number. Let's go to the next one. We got the Orlando Magic and the Toronto Raptors. This line opened with the Orlando Magic actually laying 1.5. Toronto was a 1.5 point dog. Total open 216. It's down to, still at 216. Orlando is still the favorite. They're still a 1.5 point favorite here. I do see it at a pick on a couple books. So you probably can get a little bit of whatever you want. And I do think this is more of like a money line game, in my opinion, depending on what side you like. So getting into the injury report, Quickly did make his return in that last game. He's going to play in this one as well. He was pretty emotional after the game and when they did the post-game interview. Super excited to be back on the floor and be able to get out there and battle with his team. RJ Barrett's listed as questionable due to the illness. I don't know what kind of illness he got, but I think it's kept him out for like 2 or 3 games. So get well, RJ. Not sure if he's going to play in this game or not. That's pretty big news in my opinion, because I want to take Toronto. I really want to take Toronto here. I think this could be the first game of the season where they have everybody playing. We know Toronto plays a little bit better at home. And on the Orlando side, the injury report just never seems to get better. Anthony Black is listed as questionable with a back injury. Not like they can afford to be missing players. Trevelyan Queen, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's also listed as probable, but popped up on the injury report. We know there's no Franz. We know there's no Paulo. We know Gary Harris is out. We know there's no Mo. Orlando just they're taking a big step back, man. And Toronto's not really good either. Like, let's not get it twisted. They're 8-26, but we got an 8-26 team against a 20-15 team, and the 8-26 team is only a 1.5 point dog. That should tell you all you need to know about this game, man. You can't. Orlando is a much better road favorite than they are a home favorite, and Toronto's defense is the worst in the NBA over the last five games. This is a third game in 4 nights for them as well. But boy, Orlando Magic, they look like a shell of themselves. They've failed to cover 4 straight games. They're coming off the loss against Detroit the other day. Toronto's coming off that win against the Brooklyn Nets that ended their 9-game losing streak. But when I was looking at Orlando, man, the 25th rated offensive team over the full season. Last 5 games, even worse. They're the 2nd worst offensive rated team. Toronto, like I said, defensively, they're not good at all, but I really struggle with laying points with a team on the road that I know can play defense, but just really, really struggles to score the basketball. Orlando 18-16-1 overall on the season, just 7-11 on the road, just 4-9 against the spread when they're a dog if this does end up flipping. And also just 4-9 against the spread when they're coming off a loss. I'm not sure if they have enough, man. I'm really not sure if Orlando has enough. Toronto 20-13-1 against the spread, 12-5 against the spread at the crib this season, 70.6%. I kind of feel like they could get the job done here. I think Toronto is the right side in the game. I have not bet it. If RJ gets ruled in, I think that this probably flips, and I'll probably just take Toronto on the money line. Orlando desperately needs a win. They've been losing games left and right. They've been doing this thing where they come out and get smoked early, and then they've been coming back in games. For anybody who watched them beat the Brooklyn Nets, that's what happened. For anybody who watched the Detroit game the other day, they got down big in that game, and before you knew it, they made it a game again in the second half. So in the fourth quarter specifically. So real quick, let me just check the first quarter spreads, because maybe Toronto comes out with something early, and then it's a look towards the Orlando Magic late, thinking that that's just the trend that's been happening recently. Let's see. Last 5 games, the Orlando Magic are 2-3 against the spread in the first quarter. First half, Orlando is, I feel like they've been losing the first halves. They're 2-3, so not too much there. And like I said, it's not that Toronto's been lights out. Toronto's also been super trash, but like I said, the records and the spread, they don't match up in this one. Toronto's 8-26, and they're only a 1.5 point dog. Orlando is 20-15, and they only land a 1.5 to a 8-26 team on the road. Orlando's owned Toronto as well. They've won 3 of the last 4 matchups last season, covered 3 of the last 4 matchups as well. All of the trends and numbers, especially if RJ comes in, says that Toronto could potentially have a little bit too much offense, especially with having Quickly back. Grady Dick is back now. Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett. I think that Toronto starts to play a little bit better than they've been playing recently. And I like that they're the much healthier team, the home team. So it'd be Toronto in this spot for me, and nothing at all. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one real quick. G421 says he got Pistons minus 5.5 from the other game. Merrill says, Mitchell says first. No, Jack says first. My fault. Quickly assists. I don't even know what that line is. I hadn't even thought about playing quickly assists. Orlando doesn't do they do a good job of limiting assists. I think they're like the 3rd best team in the NBA at limited assists. Mitchell says if he plays RJ Barrett, I would love the rebounds and assists to get him assists. He's been on fire recently. The crib, he has been playing well. Merrill likes RJ up and over his 18.5 points. I don't even care if he got an illness. Just like RJ. Scotty Barnes over his 18.5 points. Quickly over his 10.5 rebounds and assists. Tristan De Silva over his 4.5 rebounds for Merrill. IQ still hoops, man. First game all season, but he's back. Orlando getting 1.5. Not getting 1.5, laying 1.5. Laying 1.5. Let's see. I like the under if he plays here. Let's see. What else y'all talking about here? Nobody talking about this game. People don't like this game. My numbers like Toronto, G. Hurd said. Raptors on the money line. Quickly double loading. It opened at plus 600. Locked it in. Now it's down to 450. J-Man says. Okay. Raptors team total over. Live betting spot. Gogo Batazzi over his 10.5 boards from Marquise. Blunt, what's up, bro? Hope all was well with you. He says, I think Raptors aren't that good of a team when healthy. You think the Raptors aren't that bad of a team? My fault. When they're healthy, I agree. I do agree with that. Raptors team total, Ryan says, over 108.5. I wouldn't even play team total. Magic struggle to score, so I would look more towards just the spread, because this could be a 105 to 102 game. Like, who's to say Orlando about to come out here and score the ball a bunch? Like, I wouldn't take team total over, not against the Magic. Magic, they struggle to score. They still play really good defense. This is still the 3rd best defensive rated team last 5 games. P says, I'm on the Magic here. Toronto 2-10 versus teams over 500. Jeez, that's a hell of a trend. Okay. Raptors for me, she says. True that. Bet the spread when the Magic down in the first half, maybe. If you like the Magic, yeah, they typically come back out with something. All right, I don't love this game. Don't love it from a player prop perspective. I didn't even look into the quickly lines at all either. So let's keep it pushing. We'll go over to the next one. We got the Knicks and the Thunder. Probably the game of the day. This line has moved. I didn't update it, but this line has come down all the way down to 4.5. Total has moved up. I wrote in my notes yesterday that this opened at 221.5, and it's up to 222 is what I see it at right now. So people buying the Knicks and people buying the over. And I'll start with the total. I do think it's a little bit more of an over game. When I look at these two teams, I see offense. I do see defense. OKC is the best defensive team in the league. They are still undefeated on the season, on the second leg of a back-to-back. Let me pull that up because I know they just had a back-to-back. But this, to me, feels like an over spot. And I don't do it often, man, but it does feel like a Knicks spot. It does feel like a Knicks spot. So let's jump into the injury report first and foremost. We got Brunson listed as questionable and McBride listed as questionable. Now, absolutely, do I want the Knicks without Brunson and without McBride? I don't want to touch the Knicks without Brunson and McBride. OKC has won 8 of the last 10 head-to-head matchups between these two teams, including both games last season at 8. They've won 8 of the last 10. 8 of the last 10 have actually gone up and over the total, including 5 straight as well. So totals have gone up and over. And OKC has been dominating this head-to-head matchup. Knicks coming in. Probably these are the two hottest teams in the NBA right now. Oh, well, no, they're not. The Cleveland Cavaliers are definitely up there. I'm tripping. But the Knicks, they won 9 straight. Haven't lost a game since they lost to the Atlanta Hawks in the Cup game at home. And that feels like it's been like 3-4 weeks ago. It probably has been 3 or 4 weeks ago. So super hot team. They've actually been covering 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. First leg of a back-to-back, but they got the Bulls tomorrow. This is probably a much bigger game for them. This is also this is the national TV game, NBA TV game. So you do expect Brunson to play, or at least I'm expecting Brunson to play. And then we got the Oklahoma City on the other side, man. Second leg of a back-to-back for them. Yeah, but 9-1 straight up, 7-2-1 against the number. Before last night, they ended up blowing out the Clippers without James Harden last night. So you could say instead of 7-2-1, 8-2 against the number last 10 games. They do have the Boston Celtics up next. Then they got the Cleveland Cavaliers coming into town after that. So it's probably the most brutal, stretch of games for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think with just how many games they've been playing recently, and I think with the level of competition that we do see the Thunder. I mean, if they're ever going to kind of fall off just a little bit, lose a game or 2 in a row, because they are 26-5 or something crazy like that on the full season. I do think that it's probably about to happen with the competition that's coming in that they're gonna have to play. They got Thunder. I mean, they got the Knicks, the Cavs, and then the Knicks again. Boston, Cleveland, then the Knicks again. They go to MSG sometime next week. All right, so Thunder, 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights, 5th game in 7 nights. You hate to see it. This is a Knicks spot. And they're rested. You just need Brunson in. I do think that, the 5th game in 7 nights is almost like a scheduled loss. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and that's why the movement has come in. I think the 4.5 is still good money here. You can get, I think, a couple 5s are still available as well. I do think that the Knicks can keep this game close. I definitely think that it's an over game as well. I'm of the mindset that OKC is still going to be able to score the basketball. But the Knicks are also going to be able to score the basketball. I'm expecting them to be able to score the ball as well. So over and Knicks in this spot for me. Don't like fading the Thunder. I've been telling you guys that it's Thunder nothing for me for a long time. This is the Knicks spot though. Knicks 3-0 to the over as a road dog this season. I'm on MoneyBaller. Matter of fact, let's bring up MoneyBaller. I haven't brought up MoneyBaller in a while. So this is what you can see with a MoneyBaller subscription. There's a 50% promo code in the description of the video if anybody's interested. and checking out MoneyBaller. Just go to the website, sign up, use code ChrisBeCappinn. It'll get you 50% off, and they can break the games down for you, something like this. So you can see situational spots here. Knicks, rest advantage, first game of a back-to-back. Thunder, fourth game in 6 nights, second game of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, and fifth game in 7 nights. You do not like to see this beside any team that you're playing against, that you want to play on. And they actually went down yesterday too. They were down by double digits in that game. Granted, they ended up coming back and winning by 20, but they were down double digits in that game. Like I said, you just need Brunson to play, in my opinion. You can see both of these teams red hot. Win percentage over the full season, 71% for the Knicks, 84% for the Thunder. ATS wise, Knicks 11th. ATS wise for Thunder, they're the third best covering team, which is crazy because the strength of schedule. I'm sorry, because the lines just continue to get bigger and they just keep covering. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really fade them too much. You can see that right there. Pace wise, Knicks 26th in pace, but efficiency wise, Knicks 2nd. Thunder 7th in offensive rating, number 1 defensive rating, but I think that takes a step back with a 5th game in 7 nights. And then pace, you can see that they're also playing really, really fast. 8th in pace over the full season. Coming down here, you can see some of the trends for both teams. Knicks haven't been road dogs frequently, but they're 2-1 against the number as a road dog. 2-0-1 on the first leg of a back-to-back this season. For the full game, this was first half. I'm sorry, gotta make sure I point that out. The Thunder as a home favorite in the first half, not profitable. 8-9-1 against the spread. They also didn't cover last night. It's been a couple games in a row for the Thunder that they haven't covered the first half spread. So potentially looking at the Knicks early, couldn't talk anybody off that. You can see that they are 2-1 as road dogs this season. Over under totals, I just talked about this. Knicks 3-0 to the over as a road dog this season, both in the first half and in the full game. They are 3-0 to the under if they're on the first leg of a back-to-back, but I think this one probably goes up and over. And then with the rest advantage, crazy, 6-1 to the under with the rest advantage. Team total records, Knicks 3-0 in the first half to their team total over for the full game and for the first half. And then opponent team totals, you can see that the Thunder, really good defensive team. Opponents are 14-4 to their team total under. They even held the Clippers under 100, and I think their team total closed at 101.5 with James Harden out of the game, being ruled out yesterday. They didn't even give up that many points to the Clippers. So this is a very, very good team on the second leg of back-to-back. I think I like the total. I haven't been playing as many totals recently, so I think I like the Knicks a little bit more than the actual total. But I think it's an over game, and I think that it's an over game, and it's a Knicks spot in my opinion. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Anybody liking OKC? I can see people liking OKC. Not me today. Knicks, Knickerbockers for me. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. What up? Brian says Raptors team total under. Merrill says under 221.5. Thunder money line for parlays for me. Jake says. Thunder easy. As Jay says, the Knicks are overrated and overvalued. Don't agree with that one in this one. But like I said, you need Brunson in. I think he's gonna play, especially a big NBA TV game. Dort over is 1.5 threes from Merrill. Derek says Isaiah Hartenstein double-double at plus 185. This is the first time that he's going to play against his old team. Him versus Cat is going to be interesting. I think both of those guys could potentially, go over their props in this one. Could not talk you off at all. Did I have an Anthony? I feel like I had something written down. Karl Anthony Towns up and over his rebounds and assists. We've been talking about that for a while. I think he has a big game in this one. Hartenstein's a pretty good defender. Not going to bring it back up on the screen, but I do think it's a good spot for Cat again. He's up and over his assist prop in 9 of his last 11 games. Just sitting at 2.5. He's averaging 4. We always talk about his rebounds. I do think he's going to be out there getting the boards today. Don't do it. Like Helms said, don't do it, man. People still going to do it, Helms, but let them do it. But tell them what to do. Hopefully they get the message eventually. Merrill says Josh Hart over his 13.5 points, been cashing. Blunt says, I'm taking the Thunder in the third quarter. They've been going crazy. Could be the spot they run out of gas, though, Blunt. But let me talk you off. Play what it is that you love, my brother. Andre says, listening live from the classroom while students take an exam. It's crazy. Merrill likes Bridges over is 17.5 points. Derek says double for Hardenstein in 7 of his last 9 games. Both misses came with 9 rebounds and played 25 and 23 minutes in both losses and both misses, probably because of blowouts. That makes sense. Expecting them to be on the floor here. Christian says J-Dub over his 20.5 points. OKC 5-0 against the spread on Fridays this season. This is the type of stuff I don't really look too much into. And I also want to see who they've been playing on Fridays. They've been playing against good teams or playing against bad teams. I mentioned, I didn't write this down, but I mentioned Thunder with no rest. They've been super profitable this season. They are, even going back to last season, 14-6 straight up, 12-7-1 against the spread. This season, the Thunder are 6-0 straight up, 4-1-1 against the spread on the second leg of a back-to-back. So they've been profitable in this spot. Smoked the Grizzlies the other day, last week in this spot. Absolutely smoked them. That game was on 2 days before New Year's. Grizzlies were super short-handed. They also smoked the Heat in this spot, beat them by 7. They were actually getting a point in that game as well. So tough to fade OKC. Like I said, a lot of things gonna support them, but I like the Knicks in this spot. I do like the Knicks in this spot. And the Knicks, for some reason, in my opinion, they play better on the road. So road dog, I'll take the 4.5. Haven't played it yet, but that's the way that I'm looking. Towns over his 2.5 assists, been killing the number on the road, PZ says. I just talked about that. Knicks aren't good early. They usually trail and then come back, Jadon says. We'll see. That could happen today, too. That could happen today. They have been pretty poor in the first half, but they also been favorites of like 8-9 points recently as well. So looking at strength of schedule, I didn't touch on it too much, but strength of schedule wise, both of these teams have been playing against cupcakes, in my opinion. Knicks beat the Jazz, the Wizards, the Magic without anybody, beat the Spurs on Christmas Day, didn't cover, beat the Raptors, they beat the brakes off the Raptors, beat the Pelicans, and then the last time they had a meaningful game, they were getting 3.5 points against the Timberwolves. They won that game outright, smoked them, 133-107. Before that, they played the injured Magic. Before that, they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. So a lot of wins in here. Like I said, the last loss that they have came against the Hawks. They also lost to the Pistons, but that was a long time ago. The Thunder, I was just more so thinking about strength of schedule. The Thunder also, in my opinion, been playing against the cupcakes. They beat the Clippers last night with no James Harden. They beat the Timberwolves. They beat the Grizzlies with no Ja. They beat the Hornets. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Wizards. They beat the Heat. They beat the Magic, lost to the Bucks. Last time that they lost was against the Bucks in the Cup game. So both teams, pretty easy strength of schedule, in my opinion, recently. Jose likes Josh Hart, rebounds and assists, taking it blindly. Merrill says over 25.5 points and assists for Cat. He's been killing it on the road. Derek likes his rebounds and assists, which is what I like for Karl-Anthony Towns, up and over 16.5. Let's see. OKC Thunder, he can't see it. Can't say it, I think, without the under. Cat rebounds, but in foul trouble, difficult to trust him. Justin says Knicks team total over 108.5 in his pocket. He likes the team total a little bit more, it sounds like. Let's see. DJ Props, this feels like a Knicks spot. Brunson probably sat last game while looking ahead to this spot. Brunson is the type of point guard to take advantage of Hardenstein all night long. He's going to know what his weaknesses is. That's for sure. She says Thunder win. Knicks probably cover. That's what I'm thinking too. Tomorrow, right here with it. OKC, 5 and 7 days. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. And I got a system real quick. I know people are like, what 5 days and 7? What does 5 games in 7 days mean? It means that, most of the time you're in a scheduled loss spot. Now, teams have played well in 5 days and 7 nights. So it's not like an automatic thing. But this season, I know the last time a team was in 5 games and 7 nights, it was the Denver Nuggets against the Detroit Pistons. They smoked Detroit. 131 to 120, 134 to 121. So it's not like you can't be profitable. But this season, teams on the second leg. This season, teams playing the 5th game in 7 nights are 7-11 straight up, 6-12 against the spread. They're failing to cover by about 3.5 points per game. Also 11-6-1 to the under in this spot, because typically you just run out of gas. We cashed on the Grizzlies in this spot when they were playing against the Celtics in Boston. A lot of people faded the Lakers when they were playing against the Timberwolves 5th game in 7 nights. Their line was 7.5, and the Timberwolves was trash at that point. The Timberwolves ended up beating the Lakers by 29 points. So that's just a little bit of the 5th game in 7 nights knowledge for people who don't know about that. Just put that in your back pocket and, research. Make sure you guys are checking out MoneyBaller or doing your own research to know when these teams are in 5th game in 7 nights. It doesn't happen often, but it's definitely a fade spot. Thunder win, but Knicks cover, Sandlot says. Love pod. I think this is a new guy, but appreciate you for being here. C-Ray says, I'm taking OKC at home every time until they tell me I can't. It's actually not a good time to take them with the schedule they got coming up, but don't let me talk you off. I understand. I get it. They've been cashing. Knicks against the spread, Julio says. 1780 Guap says Thunder trying to make history. A win tonight sets the record for longest winning streak in franchise history. Been 20 years dating back to the Supersonics. I thought that was yesterday, Guap. I thought that was yesterday. I could be wrong. I thought they broke the record yesterday against the Clippers. I thought I talked about it on the show yesterday. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they tied it. Either way, I think it's a Knicks spot here. Knicks haven't played nobody with a good defense in the last 5 games. I'll gladly lay the 4.5 here. That's a gift even on the back-to-back, Blunt says. Okay. Cool. What else? A lot of people talking about other games. We'll get to them, but I'm not going to read those comments right now. GLB Best says New York 6-2 to the over, 6-2 against the spread after being a double-digit favorite, and over is 5-0 this season when both teams were double-digit favorites in their last game. So some supporting trends here, in-season trends here for this game going up and over the total, and I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so J-Man wants, he really believes in this Friday thing. So let's look at Fridays real quick. I could care less what day of the week it is. Unless it's the Atlanta Hawks back in the day. All right, so the Thunder, 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against the spread. So if you're betting on the day of the week, you like the Thunder in this spot. They have won every game on Friday. They've covered every game on Friday. They also were rested in every game on Friday outside of the Heat game. So no rest included at all. They also beat the Trailblazers. They beat the Rockets at home at the beginning of the season. They beat the Suns laying 8. They beat them by 16. They beat the Lakers by 8, laying 3. And they beat the Heat by 1. I'm sorry, beat the Heat by 7, laying 1. So if you like the Friday trends, the day of the week trends, which that don't mean nothing to me, you like the Thunder in this spot for sure. I'm not betting based on day of the week though. Knicks are also 6-2 against the spread on Fridays. Just 6-0 straight up, 4-2 against the spread if it's a Friday. They beat the Pacers, the Pistons, the Bucks, the Nets, the Hornets, and the Magic in this spot. So both teams are undefeated on Fridays. There you go, J-Man. All right, let's see. What else? C-Ray says he don't care. He said they're like 20 years old, got the youngest legs in the NBA. Maybe it don't matter. We'll see, man. I'm not going back and forth with people in the comment section about this, man. Let's see. All right, let's keep it moving, man. Enough time on this game. I like the Knicks. I haven't played the game yet. Plus 4.5. Only way I'm looking. I like the over 2. All right, next game up, we got the Boston Celtics and the Houston Rockets. We got just double checking the line. Open 3.5 for the Celtics. It's down to 2.5 now. Total open 221. Hasn't really moved a lot at all. Still see 221s, 221 out there, 221.5 out there, but hasn't really moved a lot at all. Injury report for the Boston Celtics, you do have to wait because this is second leg of a back-to-back for them. So they get to submit late. Jaylen Brown did not play yesterday, and Porzingis also did not play yesterday. On the Houston Rockets side of things, Tari Eason is – I wrote it down. What did I write it at? No, I wrote it down. Tari Eason is, I think – let me just look at it. He is He's doubtful. That's what I thought it was. And I swear I wrote it down, but I don't see it. All right, so Tari Eason is listed as doubtful. Asir Thompson is out. He's served in, I think, the second game of his suspension for the altercation that happened between him and Tyler Hero the other day. But outside of that, they should have a pretty full squad. Jock Landale hasn't really been playing big minutes anyway, but he's questionable in this game also. So you got the Boston Celtics on the second leg of a back-to-back. They did what I thought that they would do. I thought that they would actually cover. And if I guess you could, a couple of different ways you could say that they covered yesterday or don't cover yesterday. Derek White hit a crazy three off the backboard. And then Dante DiVincenzo also hit us a three when they're down three. If he don't hit that three, they probably don't cover. But depending on what number you got, because the number did start to move, most people covered yesterday with by the hair on their teeth with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Boston, I'm listening to the post-game interview. Jason Tatum said, like January, we're trying to start the season off a lot better than the way we finished the year in December. So I do kind of feel like, short number for Boston kind of feels right to me, in my opinion. I do think that they're not light years better, but they're better than the Houston Rockets. The Rockets are playing a lot better. I'm just expecting Boston to be able to kind of keep it going. I know it was a hard-fought win yesterday. I'm expecting Jaylen Brown to come back in this spot. If he does come back, I think the line starts to move. And I think the Celtics at a short price like this should be golden here. Houston is pretty good. They're actually 5-1 against the spread. 5-1 straight up and against the spread when they do have the rest advantage. You don't like that it's second game of a back-to-back for the Boston Celtics. They are 4-1 straight up, 3-2 against the spread when they're playing unrested this season. Their only loss actually came against the Memphis Grizzlies, and that was a 5th game in 7 nights for them earlier this season when we were on Memphis in that spot. Houston, 4th straight home game. They had lost back-to-back games against the Heat and against the Timberwolves, but they did beat Dallas by 11, shorthanded Dallas team by 11 as 4.5-point favorites in their last game 2 nights ago. Big game coming up for the Houston Rockets against the Lakers to wrap up a 5-game homestand in the next few days. I just kind of feel like when the Rockets play against teams that can play really good defense, I really worry about them offensively being able to score the basketball. Not that they're not going to come out here and play really good defense, but I think the Celtics are going into this road trip with the mindset that, teams are going to be physical with them, and they're kind of embracing the challenge. It happened last night. For them to go into Minnesota and be able to get a big win like that, without Jaylen Brown, without Porzingis, potentially getting, one or both of those guys back. I don't think that Jason Tatum's going to sit out or anybody's going to sit out. Drew Holiday, Derek White, any of those guys going to sit out. I would be looking, without even looking at like the advanced numbers, the stuff that I run, I still would be looking at towards the Boston Celtics to be able to win this game. Real quick, let's go. Let me just look at, I didn't break this down as far as like on paper, looking at the teams. Really just didn't have enough time, but let's look at the spots here. So 3rd game and 4th, second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th, and 4th and 6th for the Celtics. You do not like that. But it's a super short number, and I think Boston got something to prove. I think they kind of want to prove it to themselves. Based on what I heard from Jason Tatum, that's what I'm thinking. The Rockets are 2-0 against the spread as a home dog this season. They've actually covered the first quarter and first half in both of those games. Real quick, if we just go look at who they've played. They have played against the Knicks, 109-97. Game went under by 11 points. They covered by 14 points. And then the Thunder, they beat in the spot, 119-116. Remember that game on a Sunday? I took Fred VanVleet under his points, and he had 34. Played against him in the cup and couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. So Rockets have been good in this spot. Celtics is a short favorite. I think we talked about this yesterday. They can win, but they haven't been covering. This is a super short number, though. I think, I don't know. I know the Rockets play better at the crib. 20-13 at the crib. Overall, 22-11 at the crib in the first half against the spread. I don't know, man. I kind of think the Celtics can get the job done here as well. Real quick, if I go to advanced numbers, which I'm kind of thinking that the Celtics advanced numbers are not going to look great recently because they've been kind of struggling, specifically on the defensive end. But last 5 games, they are 8th in defensive rating. The Houston Rockets are 2nd in defensive rating. Houston is 7th in offensive rating, but effective field goal percentage is 24th. So they're still struggling to score the basketball. And that's what I kind of think about the Houston Rockets. They also get to the free throw line at a bottom 3 rate. Second best offensive rebounding team. So you are going to need Boston to be able to rebound the basketball. I think they'll be up for that challenge. Houston is not scoring the ball well anywhere on the floor, honestly. 13th in rim frequency, 10th in rim accuracy. But outside of that, they shoot the 3-point shot at a bottom 10 rate. Boston is not great from the 3-point line recently, 24th in 3-point rate. But I'm not expecting, if I'm betting on Houston to make threes, then I don't like betting on Houston. Houston also playing super slow, 27th in frequency, 24th in points scored per 100 possessions. Their pace has dropped all the way down to 25th in the last 3 games. And then the Boston Celtics are also playing at the slowest pace in the NBA the last 3 games. So all of that says under. If we flip it really quickly, look at Boston on offense versus the Houston Rockets defense. The Rockets, like I said, the 2nd best defensive rated team behind only the Oklahoma City Thunder last 5 games. Boston is 4th in offensive rating, 5th in effective field goal percentage, 2nd in turnover rate, which is big because Houston is 5th in turnover rate. They turn their opponents over at the 5th highest rate last 5 games. Pretty sure that's something they do for the full season. They're 10th in turnover rate, but they shouldn't. Boston doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Actually, 2nd best in the NBA last 5 games, number 1 on the full season. So that, to me, I feel like, Houston likes turning their opponents over, getting out and running in transition. They shouldn't be able to do that against Boston in this spot tonight. Boston's 1st in 3-point field goal, 3-point accuracy, 3-point frequency. Houston's defended the 3-point line pretty well, 13th in above the break, 12th in above the break 3 accuracy. Opponent above the break 3 accuracy last 5 games, and 13th overall. Whole team shooting about 36%. Boston shooting 37.7% in that same time frame. Houston very elite in slowing teams down and getting out and running in transition. Last 5 games, number 3 in opponent frequency, transition frequency, number 1 in opponent offensive point score per 100 possessions. Boston pushing pace, 6th in frequency, 5th in transition points per 100 possessions last 5 games. So I think it'll be a slow, grounded out style game, under 221, and probably a look towards the Boston Celtics if I had to play this one. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Expecting a lot of differential in this spot, in my opinion. GLB Best is interesting. Unrested teams are 1-7 against the spread on Fridays, but unrested favorites are 4-1 on Fridays. A lot of conflicting things there. Back to the day of the week. Jackson's Rockets spot easy. They cashed at the crib. Rockets +3 for Peasy. Can't fade this team at the crib. LJ says Rockets first half at home. Let's go. He likes some first half. Mark says, man, Boston -3.5 last night. Hooked. Haven't cursed that much in a minute. Yeah, it was a terrible look on you waited, you gotta push last night, Mark. I don't even know what that line closed at. It might close at 2.5, honestly, without Jalen Brown and Tatum. What did the line close at yesterday? I'm interested to know. That's why I play late though. That line closed 3, so you would have got to push. Is what I see right now. Here we go. Houston at home. You know what to do, C-Ray says. Rocket spot, BJ says. Tatum over his threes for Merrill. Derek White going back to the well. We talked about liking Derek White yesterday. His points was at 15.5. He ended up cashing yesterday, even with it moving to 17.5. I put it in Discord, but I didn't send it out to the members. So said that I liked it. I didn't play it though, but that was a 1 or 2. I should have played it and gave it out. Merrill says over. She says he likes over. Going back to Houston first half for Mark. Justin says he got Rockets plus 3.5 and going to be on the Rockets first half as well. People fading the Celtics on the second leg of a back-to-back. Okay. Not me. Just don't see how the Rockets can win a cover. There's a way. There's a way. BJ says you want to take the Rockets on the money line. Charles says it sounds like a levels game. He definitely want to beat his old team, King. He definitely want to beat his old team. Ime Udoka will definitely have his guys motivated for this game. But so will Joe Mazzulla, and they could potentially get 2 players back that didn't play last night. Yeah, it's too short of a number for me to lay with the Rockets here. Just my opinion, though. Mitchell says he thinks Boston could cover. Boston has covered in consecutive games since the first 2 games of the season. Hasn't covered him, I think is what Walter means. And that's what I mean, though. When I listened to the post-game interview yesterday, Tatum said, pretty much what he was saying is like, we're about to start being a little bit more consistent. I think it happens in this game. So don't like to see this. Boston can't lose because they definitely can lose. Udoka revenge game. But to this point that was made by King, you think Anthony Edwards was motivated against Jason Tatum yesterday? They still lost. Like it just depends on how you're looking at it here. Really depends on how you're looking at it. I think that Boston got the much better. I think they got just as good as a defense and a lot better offense, in my opinion, which is why I lean Boston. Drew Holiday plays, Derek White plays. They're gonna slow Jalen Green down a lot. Probably looking towards his points under. Houston struggles to shoot the 3-point shot. We got to remember, Houston Rockets just lost to the Miami Heat. Miami Heat won the second leg of a back-to-back. So those are just my thoughts, though. Just my thoughts. A lot of people on the opposite side. I didn't play it either. So as of now, best of luck with your Rockets tickets. But I might get there on the other side. I don't care. Like you got to go with your gut, as you do. You guys do too. You got to go with your gut. Don't listen to what I say. Listen to what you think more so. But yeah, I like the Boston Celtics here. I think they absolutely slow. If Porzingis plays, I think he does a really good job once in Sengun. You still got to contend with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on the defensive end as well. Yeah, I think it's a Boston spot with it being such a short number. But what do I know? All right, let's go over to the next one. We got the Washington Wizards and the Pelicans. Probably be here for less than a minute, man. Less than a minute. So injury report first. We got Bilal is out. We got Marvin Bagley out. Jose Alvarado is going to make his season debut today. No Zion, no Brandon Ingram. And that's pretty much the injury report. We got a 6-25 Washington Wizards team versus a 5-29 Pelicans team. This line open 6.5. It's still about 6.5. Get that comment down. Open 6.5, still about 6.5. Let me just double check it real quick. In the total, open 231.5. It's up to 233. So money coming in on this line open 5.5. I'm sorry. Looks like it opened 5.5, up to 6.5, 7 as well. And total 233. Situationally, the Washington Wizards are coming off one of their rare wins. They beat the Chicago Bulls on Tuesday. They've covered 3 of their last 4 games versus the Bulls, versus the Knicks, and against Charlotte in their last 3 games. They do play New Orleans again in New Orleans on Sunday. So this is the first of a little head-to-head matchup between the two. The Pelicans are god-awful. 0-10 straight up, 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 games. They are 7-3 to the over defensively. They look really, really bad. Just went to Miami and got smoked on New Year's Day. Last 10 games, the Washington Wizards have 3 wins. New Orleans has 0. But now I'm supposed to lay 7 points with them. I can't quite get there. I know Bilal means a lot, but Kyle Kuzma should be playing in this game. Jordan Poole has been going absolutely crazy. Couldn't talk anybody off looking at Jordan Poole in this spot. His points plus rebounds has been absolute cash cow. Not going to bring that up on the screen, but he's been killing. What I wrote in my notes was over. I don't even know if I want to play it, but that would be my lean towards the game. I just told you guys Pels are 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games, including 5 straight. Washington is better offensively because offensively in their last handful of games, they've been much better offensively. They scored 132 against the New York Knicks. They did go to overtime, but they also scored 125 against the Chicago Bulls. When I look at the Pelicans, I don't see much defense at all. And real quick, just to put some pace numbers to this, probably not going to play it, but just to put some pace numbers to it, on the full season, Wizards 4th in pace, Pelicans 16th in pace. Last 5 games, Wizards 3rd in pace, Pelicans 11th in pace. So these are 2 poor defensive teams. The Wizards defense have actually been better. They're 13th in defensive rating over the last 5 games. It's an ugly, ugly spot, but I would be taking the points with the Wizards here. Taking the points with the Wizards sounds like a terrible way to end your Friday night, but that's the way that I would be looking, is taking the points and then taking the over as well. I think both of the teams get out, push pace. Wizards been shooting the 3 pretty well last 5 games, 5th in frequency transition-wise, and I think that they should be able to score as well. Not looking towards the Pelicans to play defense, I'll tell you that. So over, so it's pretty high total at 233, but it'd be over for me, and it would be plus the 7 is the ways that I would play this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Tatum rebounds, Brian says, in that last game. I did see this, PZ. Shout out to Outlier. I see this. Derek White under his 3.5 threes, hitting that 70% clip in the last 10 games. The Rockets are pretty good against the 3-point shot as well. So that number was at 2.5. He had been cashing. Now it's up to 3.5, and some buyback is coming in the market because he has gone under. So couldn't talk you off of that, PZ. J Man says he likes Fred VanVleet under when it's 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Let's see. No play, but GLB best leans Houston in that last game as well. What am I missed? All right, so let's see. I went back a little bit too far. Let's see. Justin says team total over for him. He put the Pels at 120 in his pocket. I think the Wizards give it up tonight. Let's see. Washington first quarter been killing. Hit the last 4 games, make it 5 tonight. New Orleans wins the game, Brian says. So real quick, the Wizards have been coming. I totally forgot about this. Wizards been cashing in the first quarter. Real quick on the first quarter, let's just look at the last 10. I'll go last 10. Last 10, Wizards are 7-2-1 against the spread in the first quarter. 7-2-1 is actually the third best record in the last 10 games. The Nets are 8-2. They covered last night against the Bucks too. Is something we got to pay attention to. Is the Brooklyn Nets starting off fast and then kind of regressing down back to the mean and letting teams go on 15-0 runs in the second half. But neither here nor there. Brooklyn Nets 8-2, Jazz 8-2 against the spread, Bulls 7-3, Pacers 7-3, Grizzlies 7-3, Spurs 7-3 against the spread in the first half, and the Wizards 7-2-1 against the spread in the first half. So definitely something to take into consideration here. Last 5 games, the Wizards are a perfect 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 games. The Wizards, the Nets, and the Jazz 5-0 against the spread first half. Meanwhile, let's look at the New Orleans Pelicans. They are 4-5-1 against the spread last 10. Last 5 games, New Orleans is 2-3 against the spread. At home, 3-2 against the spread. The Wizards on the road, I like to look at all of these. The Wizards on the road last 5 are not that great. Where are they? They are. Oh, yes, they are. They're 4-1. 4-1 against the spread in the first half on the road last 5 games. So this has some validity to it. What Brian is saying about taking the Wizards early if you want to do that type of stuff with your money. Trey Mann up and over his points. I do like this one, J Man. I think he should absolutely cook in this game. He says 5 threes in game to go over. So he likes a couple looks here. Think the Pelicans locked them up early first half, under 118.5 for SK. I can't see the Pelicans playing defense at all, but that's just my thoughts. Pelicans spot all day, BJ says. No way I'm putting my money on it. It is an emotional spot for them. They already did they no, they only played the one game. They only played the one game. Odds makers like the Pelicans tonight. I think the odds makers also just want to fade the Washington Wizards because they've been so bad. Washington and over for GLB bets, so we in agreement here. I'm not just gonna bet the game off of the tragedy on New Year's Eve that happened. So I don't think they're gonna win by double digits tonight, but we'll see. We'll see. Played the over, but lean Washington. The Pelicans said they need this win for the city of New Orleans. I love this spot for them today, Coach Jim says. So somebody else thinking the same thing. Okay. Pelis minus the 7. Had a bit too many points for me. Pels come out hot. First quarter -2. First half -3.5 for Mark. Says you get in and get out with him. She likes the over a pass. Marquis says 1-800-GAMBLER game. Snowman says, good morning. What up, bro? Hope all is well with you. Yeah, I could see the Pels come. Honestly, I don't know if the Pels can come out high. I would need to see it. Pels have been terrible recently, but we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Maybe the Washington Wizards are feeling themselves off a big win against Chicago. I don't know what to do with this game, man. But I know I'm not laying 7 with the Pels. That's what I know I'm not doing. So it's Washington or nothing, total up and over or nothing for me. That's the way I'm looking at this one. All right, next one up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Dallas Mavericks. This line has moved since I made the graphic. Open 6, total open 228. It's up to 232 now. So 230, yeah, 231 and 231. It looks like it's consistent. Spread has moved to 7. Cleveland Cavaliers just continue to be a team that you really just don't want to bet against. Injury report, you got PJ Washington. He did leave that game against the Houston Rockets the other day, didn't return. He's listed as questionable here. This is where I wrote Tari Eason. I wrote Tari Eason name in the wrong spot. I'm like, I know I wrote it somewhere. He's not playing in this game. So injury report on the Dallas side, of course, Luka will continue to be out as well. Derek Lively is, I think, officially off the injury report. He did come back in the Houston game, but was on a minutes limit, like 15 to 18 minutes. I see Maxi Kleber listed as game time decision. Najee Marshall, I think this is the last game of his suspension for the little dust up that he had with Nurkic. And then on the opposite side, Isaac Okoro is listed as game time decision. So is Sam Merrill. Cleveland won 4 straight versus Dallas. They've owned the team even with Luka playing. 7-3 against the spread in the last 10 head-to-head matchups. 3 straight covers, 3 straight wins on this road trip for the. I'm sorry. That's Cleveland in general. 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. 3 straight wins and covers on the Western Conference road trip. Smoked the Denver Nuggets, smoked the Golden State Warriors, smoked my Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm expecting everybody to be on them today. The number does continue to get bigger, but as I said against the Golden State game, if they win, it's always by double digits. Every single one of their wins so far have been by double digits. But Dallas, not a great spot. First game back home after a 4-game road trip. They've actually started to regress a little bit. 3 straight losses. They lost to Portland on the second leg of a back-to-back after beating the Phoenix Suns. Then they lost to Sacramento. And they lost to the Houston Rockets. Didn't cover any of those spreads, and they found themselves just 4-6 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. They also have a big divisional game. It's not until Monday, but they do got a big divisional game against the Memphis Grizzlies coming up. So Cleveland catching the Mavs in a pretty bad spot. I know 7 points is a lot to lay with a road favorite. I do kind of feel like Dallas is going to come out with something. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Cleveland is a well-oiled machine that I'm not looking to bet against right now. So I guess if I had to bet it, I'll be laying the points here. Just offensively, they're just doing things that we typically see the Celtics do. I think Kenny Atkinson won Coach of the Week, and he deserves it. They probably should have gave it to him twice, how good he's been playing recently. This is the best offense in the league, averaging 123.2 points per 100 possessions. Last 5 games, they've even been better than that, 126 points per 100 possessions. And they're still the 12th best defense in the last 5 games as well, winning by average of 15 points per game, outscoring their opponents by average of 15 points per game. Second best offensive rated team, not turning the ball over, second in turnover rate. Dallas Mavericks defensively have struggled. I expected to be a little bit better with Derek Lively being back. But their offense is taking a big step back without Luka. Kyrie has also missed a few of those games in the last 5. Detroit moving to 7 now. Jesus. So Charlotte must gonna get smoked tonight. Okay. All right. I got to get back into it. I'm just watching the screen move, the screen move. Dallas has struggled offensively, 19th in offensive rating. Like I said, Clay, Kyrie have both been sitting out over the last 5 games. No Luka. They've had kind of a makeshift roster. Back at home, I know they're going to try to come out with something. I just can't take the Dallas Mavericks right now. Don't feel like I want to kind of catch the falling knife. And I just kind of talked about how good Cleveland has been. So yeah, not stepping in front of Cleveland at all right now. That's really just the handicap there. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Expecting people to be on Cleveland, and I absolutely could see it. Let's see. Dallas and over. JB Best think they can cover. Thomas says, I'm finna bet the Cavs. Cavs versus Mavs ain't easy. Both of my favorite teams to bet on, Jadon says. Justin says he played the over heavy in this podcast. He thinks both teams can score. I'm not betting the under in the Cleveland Cavaliers game right now, so I guess I would agree with that. Cavs cover. Blunt says, Chris, you trying to find ways to fade the Cavs? Just don't do it. Join the train for real. It's been cashing all season. I've been cashing with them. Stayed off in that last game against the Lakers, but I'm not fading them. That's for sure. Especially with no Luka. They just seem super professional right now. Like they just trying to clean everybody up. They're on a mission right now. LJ says the Cavs 8-1 against the spread versus the West, 7-3 last 10 overall. Not betting against them. Not betting against them at all. Charles says Dallas just another team in the way. Bro, the love that the Cavs is getting is crazy. It's just another team in the way. Julio says Cavs putting the West on notice. 1780 Guap said, this is what I thought was going to happen, man. Everybody's going to like the Cavs today. Don't let me talk you off. I'm not betting against them, but yeah. What up to my guy Finesse, top of the top? Hope all is well with you, bro. Finesse up at 10 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time, man, on a Friday. Could have sent you the link, bro. You could have hopped on the show and handicapped the games with me. Know you got some looks. What up, Finesse? Kyrie over his 26.5 points from Merrill. Thinks that he won't go out without a fight in this game. I could agree with that. Donovan Mitchell over his 3.5 threes. Been cashing, and his points over 22.5. Mark says he played the over last night at 230.5 as well. What is it up to? It's up to 231.5. So it hasn't really moved too much. I would bet it at a half, just a point differential if you still like it. Justin says Cavs gonna make me start going to their games. Only 3-hour trip for him. They're good, man. They're really, really good. Really, really good. Mark says so Cavs gonna cover every game. The Cavs are, man, real quick. Let's put some numbers to it real quick. This is by far it's crazy. I would love to see them play OKC. All right, so Cavs full season 24-9 against the number on the road, 11-4 against the number, 73% as a favorite, 21-9 against the spread, 70% of games they're covering. I don't know if they have the rest advantage or not, but with the rest advantage, 5-2 against the spread. With the rest disadvantage, 6-0 against the spread. Non-conference, I think LJ mentioned this one, 8-1 against the spread, 88.9%. Coming off a win. This is what I mean when I say professional. When you're coming off a win and it's not a letdown, you don't want to be like the Milwaukee Bucks, where you go into Indiana, when you go in to beat the Pacers and come back, but then you lose to the Brooklyn Nets. You don't want that type of stuff to happen. So off a win against the spread, the Cavs are 21-7 against the number, 75%. That is insane, man. But on the opposite side, real quick, I don't think the Mavs have been a home dog this big this season. Let's see. Home dog this season, one time against the Knicks. They beat the Knicks 129-114. Of course, they had Luka in that game. That was the first time that the Mavs have been the first and only time that the Mavs have been a dog. Against the spread last season, which I'm pretty sure Luka probably wasn't a part of these games. This is the biggest spread that the Mavs have gotten over the last 2 full seasons. They were getting 5 against the Thunder on December the 2nd, 2023. They were getting 5 at home. They did lose that game and didn't cover. They were laying. I remember being on the Thunder in this spot. I think it was a bounce back spot because I remember the Thunder going on the Mavs going on like a 20-3 run in the fourth quarter in this game. They lost the game by 6 and they were getting 5. So the Mavs, I mean, I know people don't want to hear it. People gonna play the Cavs regardless, but 7 is a big number. Let's just say that. Let's see. PJ knee sprain Wednesday. How they gonna stop? Give me the Cavs. Pete says. Yeah, he is questionable. We'll see if he comes back and plays in this game. OKC are frauds in the playoffs. They do exactly what they did against the Bucks in the Cup final. Too many young and naive players. Let's see. Mark says, don't get me wrong. I've been cashing with the Cavs a ton, but regression is real. And it is going to come, all right? Hopefully people have made enough money when the Cavs start not covering numbers that they're not down. Like, you don't want to jump on the train too late because these lines is only getting bigger for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They started this road trip when they were real quick to Mark's point. They started this road trip against the Denver Nuggets, right? They were, against the Denver Nuggets. And I said, take the money line in that spot. We were on the money line. They cashed, ended up closing at 3.5. They cashed, won the game by 14. Then against the Warriors, I was also on the Cavs in this spot. They won the game by 18. They were laying 3. And then I said, I'm gonna lay off for the Laker game. I didn't. They won the game still by 12. And now they get the Mavs. So when they win, I mean, all of their wins have been by double digits. The last time they lost a game was against the Heat. They were laying 2.5. They lost the game by 9. So if they win, they do cover. They don't have and this is what I said in the breakdown, in the write-up the other day. They don't have a single digit win since they beat the Cavs by 4. That game was on December the 1st. So it's been a month since the Cavs have lost a game. It's been a month since the Cavs have won a game by single digits. If they lose outright like they did to the Heat. So a 31-point win, 12-point win, 14-point win, 10-point win against the Wizards, 29-point win against the Nets, 23-point win against the Bucks, 27-point win against the 76ers, 11-point win against the Jazz, 14-point win against the Nuggets, 18-point win against the Warriors, and a 12-point win against the Lakers. That's what it is. That's what it is. Clay gonna step up. Belin and Cavs, Snowman says. All right. Mavs played in my face in Houston. But give me the Cavs minus the 6, 77 figure says. Mavs first quarter team total over 27.5. Hot TV Grid says. I've seen them cover 10-point spreads. I'm convinced. 77 figure says. I can't talk you off. 7 is just a big number. I'll be on the sideline here. And if I want to play Cleveland, I'll find another way to do it. But not laying the points here. Especially being that I missed the 6. But it's cool. I really wanted it anyway. If PJ Washington gets ruled out, this is probably going to close even worse, though. If he gets ruled in, it should probably help the Cavs. All right, next game, we got San Antonio Spurs and the Denver Nuggets. A game I do want to look a little bit deeper into. I have not looked too deeply into this game, but I'll tell you guys this. Jeremy Sohan is out for the San Antonio side. I think that hurts their defense a little bit more than it hurts their offense. It looks like what I'm seeing right now is Devin Vassell is going to jump into the starting lineup, which I feel that Vassell has been starting. Champagny is going to jump into the starting lineup. My opinion. My apologies. To go along with Harrison Barnes, Victor Wembanyama, Chris Paul, and then the Nuggets only have Aaron Gordon listed as out. So it should be I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty good game. I actually wanted to, when I first saw the number, I thought the total was a tad bit too high at 233.5, and this total is up to 237.5 now. Some 238s out there as well. I kind of wanted to lean towards the under. Don't look like it's too much of an under game, and I don't know if I want to put my money on the under. I think 238.5 is a lot of points, though. I know Denver's, really good offensive team. But they are playing fast. I feel like San Antonio's defense has been a little bit better, though. All right, so let's jump into the matchup. Head-to-head wise, Denver has won 3 of the last 4, but San Antonio did get them. They got them last time that these two teams played. I think it was like last April, 121-120 in San Antonio. San Antonio was getting 11.5 points in that spot and won the game outright by 1 point. Did go up and over the total where it finished in at 241 points. Situationally, the Spurs have been really good recently, 17-16 on the full season, but 6-4 straight up and 6-4 straight up in their last 10, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. I want to say that they have maybe not the longest, but probably the second or third longest active ATS streak. They've covered 7 straight games, have the San Antonio Spurs. These two teams do play again, same gym tomorrow. Something to take into consideration if you don't want to bet this one and just kind of watch it and bet based off what you saw in the game before. They do play tomorrow on the second leg of a back-to-back is what I had written in my notes as well. I think the game is tomorrow. Let me double check that. I want to say it is. Yep, it's tomorrow. Same gym, probably different time, but same gym, all that good stuff. On the Denver side, they are starting to put it together a little bit. 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games, 6-4 against the number. They've covered 3 straight, beat Detroit, covered. That was the 5th game in 7 nights. Went to Utah, got a cover in that game, won by 11. And then smoked Atlanta without Jalen Johnson the other day as well. 139-120. Offensively, they've been really scoring the basketball. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games, including 4 straight overs. They even went up and over to 246.5. On the San Antonio side of things, but total-wise, they've been kind of alternating. Under, over, under, over, over. I do think 7.5 points is a tad bit too many here. Denver's been really, really good. Let's see where the line's going. It's kind of still sitting at 7. I see some 6.5s out there. I think I'll be taking the points, man. I think San Antonio can keep this one close. They're just playing really good basketball. They're covering numbers. If you can cover in New York against the Knicks, I kind of feel like you can cover against the Denver Nuggets as well. Got to cover it here against the Clippers, against the Timberwolves, against the Nets, 76ers, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Atlanta Hawks. Real quick, as a road dog this season, let's see what they are. They are this season, they're 5-5 against the spread. Only 1-9 straight up, so they don't win, but they are 6-3-1 to the over as well. 2 straight overs against the Knicks and the Timberwolves. I don't think about the Spurs as a solid offensive team, though. I really, really don't. I think that offensively, if Victor Wembanyama is not out there stretching the floor and making those threes, which his 3-point prop is probably going to be good to look at in this game, especially against a fast-paced team like the Denver Nuggets after going, I think he shot just 1 for 6 against the Clippers in this last game. I kind of think that the pace is going to be a little bit slower in my opinion, which is why I like under. I know Denver has been playing super fast lately. Put some numbers with that. Denver is, and let me just look at it real quick. You know what? Now that I think about it, another reason to like the under. All right, so on the full season, Denver is 5th in pace. The San Antonio Spurs is 21st in pace. Last 5 games, the Denver Nuggets are 6th in pace. The Spurs are 24th in pace. The Spurs are 4th in defensive rating. The Nuggets are number 1 in offensive rating. The Spurs are shooting the best effective field goal percentage in the NBA at 60.6%. The San Antonio Spurs are number 1 in opponent effective field goal percentage, holding teams to 48%. That's why they've been covering. This is why. And I don't know, like I would need to look at Jokic's numbers specifically against Victor Wembanyama, but this is why I kind of think the game's going to go under. So you got the best offense against the 4th best defense. Where does Denver like to take a lot of their shots from? At the rim. They get to the rim and they attack it a lot. They attack it frequently, and they're pretty accurate as well. Last 5 games, they're 3rd in rim frequency, 4th in rim accuracy. We know Jokic is a walking triple-double. I get it. But the Spurs are number 1 in opponent rim accuracy. And that makes sense when Victor Wembanyama is out there literally holding his hands up, covering the basketball goal because he's so tall. So I think Denver is going to play. If San Antonio plays at the 24th, if they play at a 24th rated pace, which is what they're doing over the last 3 games, and their offense, which I don't trust them offensively, like I said, they're 18th in offensive rating, 20th in effective field goal percentage. Not getting a ton of offensive rebounds either. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of an under game. I do feel like it's an under game. I think San Antonio can slow them down. I'm not expecting Denver to be able to shoot the 3-point shot as well as they have been recently. They're shooting 40%. Last 5 games, which is 4th in the NBA. San Antonio also number 1 in opponent 3-point percentage, holding teams under 30% over the last 5 games. Looking like under to me. Looking like under. I don't trust San Antonio's offense. I think Denver can be slowed down just a tad bit with Victor Wembanyama being out there and what he does with protecting the rim. Real quick, let's see if San Antonio should be able to score. San Antonio not really doing a lot well at all. Long mid-range shots, they are sixth in frequency and third in accuracy last 5 games. They are the 6th best mid-range shooting team at 49% over the last 5 games. The Denver Nuggets defense has been pretty bad. 26th in defensive rating the last 5 games. 22nd in effective field goal percentage for their opponent. Not forcing any turnovers. 26th in turnover rate. They're not doing a lot great on the defensive end. San Antonio is running a lot too. They're 4th in frequency as far as getting out in transition. Number 1 in points scored in transition. Denver is 10th in frequency for their opponents, so they are doing a pretty good job of slowing teams down and getting back. 17th in points allowed last 5 games. All right, let's look at a few trends real quick. Denver is, I want to take the points with San Antonio. I think that's where ultimately gonna land, but I do like under 2. Just don't know if I want to sweat out an under, man. I feel like I've been laying low on totals. All right, Denver is only 7-7 against the spread at the crib. They are 8-14 as a favorite, so only covering 36.4% of the time. I think both teams have equal rest, so none of that matters. Against the conference, 10-10. Coming off a win, 8-9. San Antonio Spurs 18-15 on the full season. That's 55%. On the road, 8-6, 57%. As a dog, 10-10, 50%. Against the conference, 14-13, 51.9%. Coming off a win, 7-9. And they are coming off a big win against the Clippers. I think the biggest win of the season for them. I just feel like they're playing a little bit better basketball, though. So it'd be plus the 7.5 here. If the 7.5 is still available, that's the way that I would look here. It actually is not available. It's down to 7. So San Antonio plus the 7 is something that I like here. Talked a lot. So let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Spurs first quarter plus the points. I think Spurs can cover here. Sohan hurts the team. Him being out is good for the Spurs. Don't know how much I agree with that. Blunt says Nuggets 9-2 with Brody Westbrook in the lineup. I did see that. Justin likes the Spurs plus 7.5. Love to see that. And this is moving down to 6.5 right now. Don't like that because I need to get a 7 or 7.5. Call me Aries at 7 plus Spurs plus 7.5 plus Jokic legacy game. Jokic versus Wemby about to be a movie. I agree with that. Cup of Joe opposite sides -6.5 still available on the alternate line for for the Cavs. Okay, I like that. Gordon is out. Take the Spurs. He is out. I see Nuggets. I bet my barber for a fresh fit. Can't take Nuggets unders right now, in my opinion, Charles. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. The numbers suggest under, but I don't know if I can pull the trigger. Mark says Nuggets slow starters, Chris. They absolutely are. I think recently they've been a little bit better, Mark, but let me go look into it just because you mentioned it. Nuggets are on the full season. I know they've been one of the worst teams. They're actually the worst team in the NBA in the first quarter. 11-19 against the spread. 11-19-2. They got 2 pushes as well. Worst team in the NBA against the spread in the first quarter. Down there with the Knicks and the Miami Heat. Worst teams to start a quarter. Phoenix Suns also on here, and the Sacramento Kings, which we'll talk about in a second. So they have been a super slow starting team. Last 10 games, Nuggets 4-5-1 against the number. So they have been a little bit better. At home specifically on the full season, the Denver Nuggets are 6-7-2 against the spread in the first quarter, I'm sorry. And last 5 at home specifically, Denver's 2-2-1. So they've been, I guess they're trying to get it together a little bit. As far as San Antonio goes, on the full season, all the games included, the San Antonio Spurs are 14-18-1. So kind of bottom of the pack. Last 10 games, San Antonio 7-3 against the spread in the first quarter. Second best record behind only the Jazz and the Brooklyn Nets. Last 5 games, 4-1 against the number. So let's go through road games. Last 10, overall road games, San Antonio is 7-7 against the spread on the road for the full season. Last 10 road games, 5-5. Last 5 road games, 4-1 in the first quarter on the road. So maybe a look towards San Antonio early, especially with Denver coming off the big win against the Atlanta Hawks. I kind of like that, Mark. I kind of like that. San Antonio first quarter ATS. I'm gonna put that on my short notes. Let's see. LJ says, FYI, Chris, there's no total high enough for Denver. Take the over. That's what people have been doing, man. People have been doing that. Today in Denver, tomorrow in San Antonio. I might have said that wrong, man. I thought I saw that the game tomorrow was going to be in San Antonio. Yeah, you're right. My fault. So the game tomorrow will be in San Antonio. Let's see. Second in San Antonio. LJ says Denver is trash in the first half, but third quarter at home, coming out at halftime, Denver smashed by it. So Denver in the third quarter specifically, LJ saying. And I mean, that's something, I've been talking a lot on the show, but something else to kind of, jot down in your notebook, right? In your mental notebook is these good teams that start slow or finish slow or whatever the case might be. There's going to be times that you can't bet them, right? We talk about this with the Knicks. The Knicks are one of the better third quarter teams in the NBA. So let's look at the Spurs. Let's look at the Denver Nuggets specifically in the third quarter. So yeah, while they've been one of the worst first quarter teams, third quarter 19-13 against the spread. Last 10 games, Denver 6-4 against the spread in the third quarter. At home specifically, the Denver Nuggets are 12-3 against the spread in the third quarter specifically. So this is they're really good against. They come out with something. 12-3 is the third best ATS record in the third quarter. San Antonio is 15-4 in the third quarter at home specifically though. So something to take into consideration if you like the Denver Nuggets in the third quarter at home specifically. 12-3 against the number. Spurs first half team total, Denver second half team is what SK says. Take San Antonio first half. Wemby not going down low like he has been recently today. Wemby don't like to play down low. He's been shooting a bunch of threes. You must not have been watching, SK. What up, man? He says top of the morning. He says I'm sick to my stomach from last night. Missed the 6th leg by 1 point. We just had this conversation yesterday in the Discord about how much money people lose by continuing to bet against the spread. I mean, parlay and then lose by 1 leg. We literally just had this conversation. Sorry to hear that, Manny. Hope you can narrow it down and take your top bets, man, and make some cash. Let's see. Chad says Blazers did cover every number but the worst. 7 line before tip. For a tip, 8.5, 9.5 all day. They did cover last night. Same day likes the breakdown. I'm glad you do. I don't know what I said. Jacob says still need to email you to get the Discord. Yeah, just shoot me an email, Jacob. My email is actually in the description of the video. I want to say as well. It's ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's at gmail.com, and I can send it to you. Says he got -5.5 and was able to cash out for some profit. +7 is what I like here. Chad says he grabbed the Grizzlies, the Knicks, the Hawks, and the Cavs and the Raptors here. So I agree with him on the Grizz. We'll talk about that game in a second. Like the Knicks, didn't take the Hawks and not touching the Cavs. Do like the Raptors. So me and Chad got a lot of alignment today. You love to see that because Chad's been killing the NBA for sure. Appreciate you for tapping in, Chad. Says I do like the Spurs. Haven't got there yet. So more agreement here with me and my guy Chad. Don't like that the Spurs have traveled all over before the game, then going into altitude. Maybe it's San Antonio early. Couldn't talk you all. Would not play money line here, D-Will. I wouldn't play money line, but that's just me. That's just me. Denver is really starting to put it together here for sure. All right, let's go over. I think we got a couple more games. We got the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings. Is this the last game? I think this might be the last one, right? Let's see. No, we got 2 more. We got the Lakers and the Hawks too. All right, so I did bet this one. First game that I actually bet. The Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings. I took the Grizzlies here. I sent it out last night +4.5. Right now it's come down to 3.5. Total is continuing to move up, which I'm not sure how much I agree with that. This open 236.5 is up to 240.5 now. So pay no attention to the number that you see on the board, that you see here on the screen. And I do got a full write-up for this one. So we'll start with the injury report. We got Keegan Murray listed as doubtful for the Sacramento Kings, and then a long list of injury guys for the Memphis Grizzlies. So Ja is out. Brandon Clark is listed as questionable. Zach Edey is listed as questionable. Zach LaRavia is listed as questionable. And then all the other guys will continue to remain out. No Vince Williams, no Marcus Smart, no Gigi Jackson. Santi Aldama continues to be out as well. And I'm totally cool with that. I think if we get Brandon Clark in, if we get Zach Edey in, if we get LaRavia in, if we get two of those three guys to play, I'm cool with this bet. And I do think that 2 or 3 of them are going to play, which is why I sent the play out early, because I figured the line was going to move. And that's what I put in the write-up that I sent to the members yesterday. So a Memphis team on the first leg of a back-to-back. They do got a game in Golden State tomorrow. This is their 4th straight road game. They got a long road trip. I think it's like 8 games altogether. They got a few more games even after the game against Golden State tomorrow on the road. They beat the Phoenix Suns 2 nights ago. They were getting 5.5 points in that game. They won the game outright by 5. They're 7-3 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. And this is just another super professional team, in my opinion. Memphis Grizzlies is going to play hard. The backup guys, I saw somebody going at Devin Booker the other day, like one of their rookies. I don't even know what his name was, the little white kid, but he was going at Devin Booker. I just love the grit that they play with. As long as and I said this the other day as well, I didn't bet them plus Phoenix. Plus the points versus Phoenix, but I said as long as Jared Jackson Jr. can stay out of trouble, I need him to stay out of foul trouble in this game as well. And I do think that it's going to be a 1-possession game if they don't win the game outright. Sacramento, third straight home game, 1 day's rest. They won back-to-back games against the Dallas Mavericks, who only had 1 starter in that game, and they did beat the Philadelphia 76ers on the strength of a 15-0 run to close the game, or 13-0 run. But they've only still only covered 2 of their last 10 games. Didn't cover either one of those games. So getting into the matchup, Memphis, 9th best offensive rated team last 5 games. Kings just 23rd in defensive rating. So I do think that Memphis is going to be able to score the basketball. Memphis has been getting to the free throw line a lot, 4th in free throw rate. Sacramento sending teams to the free throw line at the 6th highest rate. So as long as the refs not trying to let the Kings cover, and we see what has recently been going on, Memphis should be able to limit the free throw line here. Sacramento shooting a lot of mid-range shots, 3rd in frequency, 10th in accuracy last 5 games. Memphis defense is middle of the pack in both of those. Sacramento also not pushing pace. We've been talking about this for a while. Only 25th in transition frequency, which is important because Memphis is taking a step back in their transition defense. They're actually bottom five last 5 games in both opponent frequency and points allowed via transition buckets. So you're going to need, Sacramento to continue to play slow, which is why I don't agree with this total going up either. I think both of these teams kind of match up well against each other. You do got a revenge spot here for Sacramento. They did lose earlier. Memphis beat them 115-110 as a 3-point home favorite. That total did go under the 243. This one opened up lower at 236.5, and now it's up to 240. I'm just not trusting the Sacramento Kings to be able to score that many points. I know that they're not as good without Keegan Murray. Defensively, they could probably give it up, but I just can't back Sacramento to try to have to score that many points. In my opinion, we just saw the Memphis Grizzlies play against a Phoenix Suns team that was even better offensively. The total was lower than this. That total was like 238, or it might have been 242. Something like that. But either way, it was too high. That game went under. I think this game also goes under. I know that the Memphis Grizzlies play super fast. Sacramento doesn't play that fast, though. So if they dictate pace, I think it's an under game. But I did play, official play for me. I took Memphis plus the 4.5 last night. The lines come down a little bit. I also wrote in my notes, Keegan Murray listed as doubtful if he doesn't play. Sacramento defense is allowing 5 more points per 100 possessions with him off the floor versus him being on the floor. So Sacramento's defense should struggle a little bit if he doesn't play and he is listed as doubtful. Trend wise, I looked into, because we always talk about 4.5, 5 being a key number in the NBA. So I looked at home favorites that were laying 4.5 points or less. This season, just 41-52 against the spread. So these are the games that can kind of go either way when you're asked to win by 2 possessions. 41-52 against the spread, so only covering 44% of the time. If they're a home favorite and they are at the rest disadvantage, because Sacramento only has 1 day of rest, Memphis got 2 days of rest here. This season, just 6-11 against the spread, so only covering 35% of the time. When you get into the ATS numbers, last thing I'll say real quick, and then I'll get into the comments. Memphis 23-11 against the spread this season at 68%, 10-6 against the spread on the road, 7-3 against the spread as a dog, 13-9 coming off a win. Sacramento 11-21 against the spread this season, 5-13 against the spread at home, worst ATS record at the crib, 8-16 as a favorite. Sacramento also 0-7 against the spread when they have less rest than their opponent. 0-7 against the number with less rest. 8-16 versus the conference. 4-9 against the spread when they're coming off a win in their last game. So I played Memphis plus 4.5. My top play on the board for today. The line is coming down to 3.5. And I probably hit it again if I'm being honest with you guys, but I did not. So that's my write-up, analysis, all that good stuff. I do like the Memphis Grizzlies more than anything else on the board for today, whether they play their guys or not. Let's see what we have here. I think I went too far back. Grizzlies plus 4.5 for Jacob. Hate the word lock, but I hope they cover. Let's see that. Grizzlies first quarter. Here we go again. Grizzlies should win the first quarter. It would not surprise me. Memphis has been coming out. Sacramento's been coming out super slow out the gate for whatever reason. It's almost like, I mean, you can kind of tell De'Aaron Fox doesn't really want to be there, and that's a totally different conversation. But whatever reason, they've been starting super slow. I'm not gonna double down and take the first quarter as well, but I will tell you guys, last 10 games, the Sacramento Kings are 4-6 in their last 10 games. Last 5, Sacramento is 1-5 against the spread in the first quarter. Memphis is 3-2 against the spread in the first quarter. At home in general this season, the Sacramento Kings are. Oh no, my fault. Disregard everything I just said. That was third quarter. I had never went back to first quarter. All right, so on the full season so far this season, the Sacramento Kings are 12-19-3. Fourth worst ATS record in the first quarter. The Memphis Grizzlies, now granted, they've been healthier than they are today. Best ATS team in the first quarter, 23-9-2 against the spread in the first quarter. Last 10 games, Memphis 7-3 against the spread in the first quarter, which is the second best ATS record. The Sacramento Kings 2-7-1 against the spread. I might have to add this. Memphis first quarter ATS. All right, yeah. At the crib so far this season, the Sacramento Kings are 7-12-1 against the number. That's the bottom 5 in this area. The Memphis Grizzlies on the road, 12-4 against the number in the first quarter. That is the third best ATS record behind only the Brooklyn Nets, the Detroit Pistons, and the Houston Rockets are also 13-2-1 against the spread in the first quarter on the road. So Memphis is really good on the road. Last 5 road games for them, they are 3-2 against the spread on the road. Last 3, they are 2-1 against the spread on the road. So you love to see that if you do like first quarter like Brian does. Guap says Kings are a shell of themselves, tied for the 6th lowest behind the arc, and some of that might be due to lingering trade rumors with Fox. It's hard to win by margin when you can't make threes consistently, and we've seen this team take a big step back. LJ says Memphis first quarter on the road could be a trifecta spot here. Brian says he likes the trifecta. Zombie Grizzlies money line. Let's get it, Chad. Let's get it. How can we bet the Kings right now? I can't do it, Mark. I know you cashed the other day twice. I cashed the other day. You took Philly first half full game, I think. I took Philly full game. They almost gave it away, but I think Memphis gets the job done today. Let's see. Charles says Domas does own average 10,000 boards against the Memphis Grizzlies. Snowman says plus 3.5 under 240. Sabonis 10 boards. GLB Best says gotta jump back. My last system play is the over in the Atlanta game. Let's cash it all today. Appreciate you for tapping in, GLB Best. We'll talk in the Discord later. Memphis first half. Dropping Dom says could not talk you off of it at all. Not betting against Memphis. Last time they did me dirty. Memphis +1 in the first is -115. I'll take that. And skip the late game drama, a la 76ers debacle. He says. Yeah, that's the 76ers though. Which we gotta have a hard conversation about the Sixers, man. Who are they? Are they good or are they bad? No idea what's going on with the 76ers. What do they need to do with Embiid, man? It's kind of scary out here if you like the 76ers. I didn't have a dollar on them yesterday, and the Warriors hadn't been looking good. They looked great last night. All right, so Hawks and Lakers, last game on the board. This line was at 4 when it opened. Down to 3.5. Total is moving up. I kind of thought that it would. Open 231.5. It's up to 232. It looks like it's consensus right now. So real quick on this one, I think so. You definitely got to wait on the injury report. This is an NBA TV game, so I'm guessing these guys are going to play. Trae Young is questionable. Jalen Johnson is questionable. AD didn't play last night. He is questionable. He is also probably going to be questionable for this game. Maybe he set out last night to so he could play in this game, thinking that the Lakers could beat the Blazers, and they did. They ended up covering that 7 number as well. But also Bogdanovich is listed as questionable for Atlanta. Jalen Johnson did not play in their last game against the Denver Nuggets. So you got Atlanta Hawks coming in here with the rest advantage. Lakers on the second leg of a back-to-back. Third straight home games for the Lakers. They've been looking a little bit better when they're not playing against the Cavs, which everybody's looking better when they're not playing against the Cavs. Third straight road game for the Hawks. First leg of a back-to-back. They got the Clippers tomorrow. They had won 4 straight games and covered all 4 before losing to Denver 2 nights ago. I think they can keep this game within the number. Lakers did lose to them earlier this season, 134 to 122. I'm sorry, 134 to 132 in overtime, as a 4-point favorite in that game. So the Hawks didn't cover, but the Hawks did win. And I always talk about, if you want to take the Hawks, you typically want to take them as a dog. I do think that they are, if everybody plays, I think this is going to be a 1-possession game. I would be taking the points with the Hawks. Love my Lakers. Love them. Bron coming off that game where he hit, 8 threes yesterday, had 38 points. Don't like it as much. If Atlanta has a full squad, I think they can come in here, potentially win this game outright. Always like the Hawks plus the points, more so than laying points with them. So I think that's the way I would look. Could be a nice little bounce back spot against Denver. I'm sorry, after losing to Denver by so many points, I think if you want to fade the Hawks, maybe you fade them tomorrow. It'll be a second leg of a back-to-back. Kawhi will be back. That'll probably help. He's supposed to be back for the Clippers. And if Atlanta wins tonight, teams typically have a little fun after beating the Lakers in LA. So those are my quick thoughts on this one. Didn't go through a super deep dive because of the injury report, but full squad. Lakers will be ready with AD on the second leg of a back-to-back, but I think Atlanta, especially if Bogdanovich plays, Jalen Johnson play, I think that they can keep it close in this one. So quick thoughts on that one. Let's see what you guys are thinking here, and then we'll get into a quick recap. Austin Reeves over his 7.5 assists, running that back, and then 9 assists. Couldn't talk you off. I think it will be a fast-paced game. I know the Lakers have been playing a little bit better defense, but on the second leg of a back-to-back, I can see Bron kind of not playing as good defensively. Max Christie's been a godsend for sure. And, I couldn't talk anybody off wanting to run Austin Reeves back. I'm not running Austin Reeves back. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but we'll see how it goes. I feel like everybody will still be on that, which doesn't deter me as much, but and it could probably score. Hawks defense is not that great. I don't know. She says Hawks cover if Jalen Johnson's in the lineup, could win outright and over for me here. I think I kind of agree with that. Jerry says Sixers fan here. They're not good, man. And be soft. Same day parlay said Austin Reeves got money on threes and assists. Not bad on his points either. If Trae Young and Jared Jackson Jr. outlay with the Rockets, PG is soft. Maxey, the only one who plays with heart. Maxey didn't have a good game last night, but he do be out there balling, busting his butt, man. 1780 Guaps is all over the Lake Show here. Ryan likes Austin Reeves. He's asking about Austin Reeves' assists. Says hit 8 straight without Russell. And every game since the trade. I mean, you can just run it back for sure. Jabari says Reeves assists again. I agree. 1-possession game. Atlanta +4, possibly a better number live. DeAndre Hunter threes over. His efficiency has been great. He did hit against Denver the other day. We talked about him on the show too. Could not talk you off a little DeAndre Hunter threes. especially if Jalen Johnson does not play. Maxie been cashing. LJ says take the Hawks +3. He says take the Hawks, take the over. Hawks 8-2 to the over with the rest advantage. So thinking that they can score here. Reeves assists. Let the winners keep winning. Mark says betting the Sixers is Russian roulette. You have no idea what you're getting with that team. And I could not agree more. Jared says lean Hawks. LeBron not going crazy tonight. I wouldn't think so. I feel like Bron last year when they played in LA. Last year when they played in Atlanta, it was Bron's birthday, and I think he did have he had a big game. I can't remember how many points it was. I forgot what he did earlier in the game what they played earlier this season. But yeah, I think I'd be looking a little bit more towards AD, thinking that he should be able to have a big game. Jokic just had a crazy triple-double, and they couldn't stop him. Clint Capella is not the defender that he used to be. What up, TC Best? Says, what up, Chris in chat? I know I'm late, but I was looking at +7.5, under 7.5 rebounds and assists for DeRozan. DeRozan is just kind of out there right now, it feels like, for me. So I couldn't talk you off. Could not talk you off. Reeves been a double-double warrior since D'Lo left. I'll have to play it. DJ Prop says, running it back here. All right, cool. Let's get into a quick recap of what the things are that we talked out. Only one official play for me that I played so far, and that is Memphis plus the points. Memphis plus the points. As I make my plays throughout the day, as we know what's going on with the injury report, I do send my plays out to the members, that the people that use the link in the description. If you're interested in joining, you can. To get all my plays, we're 4, 2, and 1 to start the new year. So we're up a little bit after a 1-1 night yesterday. Well, I guess that's 3-1 and 1. So 3-1 and 1, not 4, 2 and 1. 3-1 and 1. And the last week has been really good as well. So Memphis plus the 4.5, that number is going at +3.5. I would probably still play that. Malik Beasley over his 14.5 points. We talked about that number being at 15.5 now. I do think it's going to continue to move without Jaden Ivey being there. I also really like San Antonio plus the 7. That's not San Antonio. San Antonio plus the 7. I also think the game goes under. I know it's super contrarian, probably not going to bet it. Also like Boston minus the 2.5. I do think that they can get the job done. I know a lot of people don't like it. Also like the Knicks plus the 4.5 and the over in that game, but I won't put the over on my short list. Would only be looking towards Washington, even with the tragic stuff that happened for them. Man, I really want to get there with Toronto as well. Toronto, I do think is the right side today. We'll see what happens with RJ Barrett. He is listed as questionable with the illness. Toronto plus the 1. I do feel like it's the right side. And Detroit laying 7 is crazy to me, not knowing the status of LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. So these would be my top looks for today. The only thing I played officially is Memphis plus the 4.5, but here's my short list. Boston to win against a Houston Rockets team, even on the second leg of a back-to-back. If Porzingis comes back, if Jaylen Brown comes back, I think they got a little bit too much offense. Like I said, I just watched Houston lose to Miami. I know Udoka is going to have the guys fired up. I think Boston got something to prove on this road trip, though. So heard it here first if they do win. Knicks, probably my second top favorite play on the board today as well. Don't fade OKC. I get it. This is not an OKC spot in my opinion. Best of luck on whatever that you guys are betting for today, man. Resources are here. Referral code. We talked about jaXon at the top of the show. jaXon likes. What did jaXon like? I've been doing the show for so long. jaXon likes Detroit minus the 6. That line has already moved to 7. But yeah, check jaXon out for player props, total sides, different sports, whatever it is that you like. MoneyBaller as well. I showcase MoneyBaller throughout the show. 50% off promo code there with using code ChrisBeCappinn, and then Outlier as well. Referral link in the description. Get you a 7-day free trial with Outlier. OddsJam, 20% off using code CBC if you guys are interested there. And if you ever have any questions about these resources, email me at ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's, or shoot me a DM on Twitter or X at ChrisBeCappinn as well. And I can kind of help you out with whatever it is that you're looking for. So that's the show. Best of luck on whatever it is that you are betting. Go get ready for an NFL show. And taking my son to the movies today. We're going to see Sonic 3. Love Sonic. So we're going to see Sonic, man. Best of luck on all your action today. Catch you guys in the next one. We'll be live with Cal a little bit later as well. I'm out.